The Milwaukee Bucks versus the Miami Heat. They will be facing in the first round in the playoffs. The Bucks are 2-1 against the Miami Heat this season, and I actually love what the Bucks did. Instead of tanking and against the Heat late in the season and letting the Heat beat them in that game, they said, no, to hell with that. We're going to dominate the Heat. We're going to make them fall down in the standings so we can face them in the first round. The opposite of what the Clippers did, who are running scared of LeBron James and the Denver Nuggets. Giannis and the Bucks said, nah, we want Miami. We want to beat them early because that's like the bug on their shoulder right now, that Miami beat them. They upset them. They're telling themselves this is a different team. I know that the Bucks have not had the regular season success this year that they have had in previous years, but this is their best team to date. I mean, Drew Holiday adding Bryn Forbes, PJ Tucker, who not only is a Kevin Durant stopper, but he's going to be the Jimmy Butler stopper for sure. Mm-hmm. Bobby Portis and Jeff Teague, who plays some minutes, who can do some damage off the bench for like maybe 8.
He's a decent
minutes.
Scorer, though.
Yeah,
he's
a
decent scorer.
The Bucks have more spacing than ever before, and not only that, but Giannis is much more comfortable in his jump shot than ever before, and is going to take those shots. Are there games where he's going to go 2 for 8? Yes. Are there games where he's going to go 4 for 8? Yes. Mm-hmm. So it really depends on what Giannis they get. The Heat have also been playing well. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. They're finally healthy. Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robinson, Butler, Ariza has been a huge pickup. Adebayo, who may be the defensive player of the year. Dragic, Harrell off the bench, Iguodala. I mean, they got a lot of stuff going on, but I think the Bucks know this. I think the Bucks want their payback on the Heat. Mike Budenholzer's job is on the line this series because if they lose, he will be fired. Yep. And I think the Bucks are everybody on the team. They love Budenholzer. They know that, man, this series is for him. You know, he's our coach. He's our guy. This is for him. But not only is it for him, this is for us because we need to prove that we can beat the Heat, who made the finals last year. I think that would be a huge boost to them. And I have the Bucks in 7. This will be a 7-game series, and the Bucks will win it.
You know, Drew Holiday said it best. We have more talent than these guys, and I think they do. You know, I think Drew Holiday is above and beyond Eric Bledsoe. I think we can all agree that was a major upgrade. Giannis has looked – I know the stats look similar from last year, but if you watch him play, he's looked better. He's looked more confident. He's confident in that jump shot, regardless if it goes in or it doesn't. He's taking the jump shot, the mid-range. He's developed that, so that's incredible. Like you said, PJ Tucker coming in, bringing in that defense is amazing for them. Now they can run 5 guys who play great to elite defense every night, which is incredible. You know, I'm not going to acknowledge that. Bryn Forbes, who is trigger happy but also can hit at a ridiculous clip when he gets hot. Bobby Portis has been good when he gets in. He's been a little banged up, but he's been good.
Chicago Jeff Teague, Bulls legend.
Yeah. Jeff Teague, I'm a little sometimes he's good when he doesn't do dumb things. You know, he's okay. Pat Connaughton's been good. DiVincenzo, he's really solid. So this team is deep. Brook Lopez has been great for them down low as a rim protector.
Played
and a defender.
Every single game this year.
Yeah, so this team is deep. Miami, you know, they have their guys. I think they're the same team as last year. They're, you know, missing Jay Crowder and Derrick Jones Jr., but I think they've had the same identity.
And Depot's out too.
Yeah, they've been the same type of guys. I think Jimmy Butler, he's going to give it his all. Bam is going to be there. But I think when you watched, you know, in the bubble last year, this Bucks team played amazing defense. I think they just couldn't score. You know, their guys couldn't hit shots. They just, offensively, they wasn't that thing. Defensively, they were the same team. And I think this year is going to be a little different. You know, Drew Holiday, he's hitting at a 39% clip. Mm-hmm. He can dribble the ball. He can play off ball. He can lock up on the defensive end consistently. You know, it's not one off, one on. He does it every night. He can score. Giannis is going to be there. I don't think they're going to be able to build that wall that they once built. Even if they do, they have the shooters out there where they can run. So I think this is going to be a 5-game series. But I think every game is going to be intense, strong, close. But I think the Bucks are just going to come out with it in the end because I think, like you said, they got that chip on that shoulder. And Giannis has been better. You know, Drew Holiday has been better. Mm-hmm. This team is better. I think Middleton has to step it up. But we know, regardless, his defense is going to be there. The offense has to kick in, but I think 5 games is going to be the series.
Okay. Yeah, I think that Milwaukee has something to prove. I mean, you want to think about Giannis's legacy. He wins the MVP 2 seasons in a row, wins Defensive Player of the Year, first player since Michael Jordan to do that, win MVP. And
Say that again?
First player since Michael Jordan.
Oh, okay.
This guy, man.
Just had to throw that in there.
Unbelievable. Either way, this man Giannis is a freak in nature. The Greek freak fitting. I feel as if, though, his playoff woes have been a huge reason as to why he's not in those conversations with KD, LeBron, Kawhi, even though this season, these past few seasons, he's put up astronomical numbers, and his defense is only a plus to that. This man is unbelievable at basketball, and this is the closest. I feel like the last time we had a player of this caliber under this much scrutiny, I guess you could say James Harden, but, I mean, young into their career, LeBron James. LeBron had the exact same critiques when he was younger that he couldn't get it done in the playoffs. Is he really built like that? How can you consider him to be the greatest of all time when he can't get it done in the playoffs? Obviously, we know what happened with LeBron. But Giannis has a squad around him now. You get him Drew Holiday, as you guys mentioned, Dante DiVincenzo, who's been pretty solid all year long. You get him another defensive anchor in PJ Tucker, which is only going to help him and take some stress off his game. He can relax now more so than he has in the last few years, especially going against teams where you look at the Raptors. He just didn't match up well. You knew what to do against Milwaukee that year. Trap Giannis. Don't let him get into the paint. Don't let him back us down and bully us. Same thing last year. Bam did an unbelievable job on Giannis. Don't let him get into the paint. Don't let him enforce his will. Giannis was hurt too. He ended up missing games 3 and games 4. Chris Middleton's going to have to be huge for them. Middleton has been pretty solid all year long, averaged 21 points this season. But when you're going against a team like Miami, who has been consistent these last 2 years, that definitely, I wouldn't say they're the same team as last year. I felt like they were better last year. I feel like Depot would have given them a huge push, where I might lean Miami this series. But right now, as constructed, Milwaukee is too deep. Milwaukee has too much motivation to win this series and too much on the line legacy-wise for them to lose. I feel like Milwaukee in 6, that's what's going to happen.
And I think Giannis being called the guy who doesn't perform in the playoffs has been one of the more bad narratives that is coming out, because
Definitely.
He is a good playoff performer. He's a victim of his circumstances and supporting cast, because Eric Bledsoe, my God.
Stinks.
He's terrible.
They
just gave him $100 million.
awful.
He's terrible.
I think that was a fake contract.
Was
that
it?
was a fake tweet.
Thank God.
He's terrible in New Orleans.
Yeah,
really bad.
Eric Bledsoe was horrible. Chris Middleton has literally turned into Tony Snell in the playoffs. I mean,
Chill, Tony Snell, 50-50, 100.
I mean,
First player ever.
He did make history, not knocking him on that. Maybe I should use another name. But Chris Middleton has really not been who we thought he was in the regular season. But look at this. In the regular season, Giannis' stats, 2019-2020, so last year, 29.5 points per game, 13.6 rebounds, 5.6 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, shooting 55% from the field and 30% from the 3, and has a 31.9 PER. In the playoffs last year, he averaged 26.7 points per game, 13.8 rebounds, 5.7 assists, 0.7 steals, 0.9 blocks, 56% from the field goal, and 32% from the 3-point range, and 31.3 PER. So I mean, it's very similar to his regular season numbers, and it's been like that for the last couple of years. So the narrative that he's this playoff choker is just not true. He plays well, and I think he's improved on his game, and the team around him now allows him to play more freer, because we have to take into account that these numbers in the playoffs are similar, and he's being double-teamed heavily in the playoffs, way more heavily than he is in the regular season. So Giannis, I expect him to have a really big series, and I'm going to change my pick. The Bucks will win in 6, not 7. They'll win in 6, and Giannis is going to be dominant.
Yeah,
He has to.
I think like you hit it on the head. The narrative around Giannis is he hasn't been able to win it, get it done. He's 26 years old. He's 2-time MVP, defensive player. He's been an All-NBA first team. He's got everything that he needs to get except that illustrious trophy. I think if they, like you said, if they lose this first round, I think Giannis is shipped out. He's getting shipped out immediately. I think he's going to request a trade. I think Mike Budenholzer gets fired, and it's no reason to run it back when you just lost in the first round to Miami. This team, I think, is the second best team in the East. I think it's a top 5 team in the NBA. I think this team is the most equipped to beat the Nets, but if you can't even beat the Heat, you got to look at things differently. And I my bias, I hope they do lose, and I hope he does get traded, because if he gets traded, he's going right to play with Steph Curry. So I hope that's the thought process. But I do got Bucks in 5. I think they're gonna win, and I think they're gonna be geared up to play them boys next round.
Yep.